If you thought of Khamzat Chimaev in 2020, one of the first things that likely came to mind was his relentless activity. His rise to fame was fueled by his astonishing speed and dominance inside the cage. He made history with the fastest turnaround in UFC history, fighting just 10 days after his debut, and, a month later, knocking out a fighter from a heavier weight class. But today, his appearances in the octagon have become rare. While some speculate about injuries or anti-doping issues, the real reason may lie in his connections to Russian warlord Ramzan Kadyrov. Before we dive in, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And for you, it's just a button and it's free. Chimaev's recent struggles, including being denied entry to the US and inexplicably changing his nationality, raise questions about the influence of his controversial ties. To understand why we seldom see him fight anymore, we need to revisit the roots of his meteoric rise and the shadow looming over his career. When Chimaev burst onto the UFC scene, he was more than just another wrestler from the wrestling-rich region of Russia. His debut showcased a unique blend of aggressive wrestling and brash confidence. Unlike the reserved demeanor typical of fighters from Dagestan, Chimaev embraced the role of a showman. Despite his limited English, he trash-talked his way into the spotlight.
Everybody, I come here for everybody, kill everybody, I'm the champ, I'm the king!
Captivating fans and calling out half the roster. In his second fight, just 10 days after his first, he moved up in weight and obliterated his opponent, leaving fans stunned. Chimaev's star power skyrocketed with these back-to-back wins, and 7 weeks later, he returned to the octagon to face Gerald Meerschaert. This time, he displayed his striking, delivering a devastating knockout with his very first punch. In just 66 days, Chimaev had 3 wins in the UFC, with his opponents landing a total of fewer than 5 strikes.
Is this game easy for you? Is MMA just an easy sport for you?
Yeah, of course it's easy for me. I'm born from this country. When I was a kid, it was war in my country. Everybody from Chechnya say like before how they was. I like to fight in the cage and smash somebody. It's too easy. Too easy. I do smash somebody, you get money, brother. It's perfect for me.
The UFC had never seen anything like it.
What can you say about this guy and what he's accomplished in 66 days, I believe it is?
The guy's special. I've been in this game my whole life. I've never seen anything like him.
But then, the momentum slowed. Chimaev was scheduled to face Leon Edwards, but after contracting COVID-19, he had to withdraw. His symptoms lingered, and his health deteriorated to the point that he announced a shocking retirement on Instagram, fearing his career might be over. However, this marked the beginning of his deepened ties with Kadyrov. Ramzan Kadyrov, the authoritarian leader of Chechnya, publicly intervened, calling Chimaev and convincing him to continue fighting. While Kadyrov's support seemed noble on the surface, skeptics viewed it as the warlord ensuring his prized fighter remained in the spotlight to elevate Chechnya's image. But who is Ramzan Kadyrov? As the ruler of Chechnya since 2007, Kadyrov is notorious for his brutal regime. He's accused of orchestrating disappearances, torture, and purges of political opponents, journalists, and members of the LGBTQ+ community.
I wanted to ask you about the alleged roundup, abduction, and torture of gay men in the Republic. What, Mr. President, do you want to say about that?
Вот сейчас, почему он приехал, пришел к тому, да, вопросу, это ерунда. У нас таких людей нету. Нету у нас геев. Если есть, заберите в Канаду, хвала Аллаху, подальше от нас. Аузу билляхи минаш шайтанир раджим, чтобы не было, чтобы очистили кровь, если есть таких, пусть забирают.
These alleged atrocities have led to widespread international sanctions against him. Yet Kadyrov has long used sports, particularly MMA, as a propaganda tool to mask his crimes. He's often seen associating with global icons like Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather, hosting lavish events and promoting Chechen athletes to bolster his regime's image. For Kadyrov, Chimaev is the perfect ambassador, a global star representing Chechnya with pride.
Hey, this is Chechnya, motherfucker! Shut up, guys! I'll fuck you boy up! I fuck him backstage as well!
Chimaev's connections to Kadyrov became increasingly apparent, with the fighter frequently seen alongside the leader. From receiving luxury cars to attending Kadyrov's family events, Chimaev's role in Chechnya's propaganda machine grew deeper. However, these ties have come at a cost. While Chimaev's public calls for peace in conflict zones like Palestine and Ukraine.
Guys, you know what's happening in the world now, right now? I wasn't happy in the cage. Fight this week. Oh, see the kids dying. It doesn't matter. Whatever in the world, Ukraine and Syria, Afghanistan, Palestine, USA, doesn't matter. When kids die, it's hard, guys. I love the kids. I have a boy who's waiting for me there back home. Is only 3 months. If he's just crying, I know how it feels. And when somebody dies, guys, I don't know what to say. Inshallah, we'll be good in the world. I hope so. Muslim, Christian, Jewish, doesn't matter. Please, guys, be together. Let us live in this world good. And let us be happy. Thank you, guys.
Paint him as a compassionate figure, the irony is glaring. Kadyrov is a key supporter of Russia's war in Ukraine, directly contradicting Chimaev's message of peace. This relationship has also fueled speculation about Chimaev's reduced activity in the UFC. Since aligning with Kadyrov, Chimaev's career has seen a sharp decline in frequency. His first 3 fights happened within 2 months, but his last 4 have been spread over more than 2 years. Some blame lingering health issues or injuries, but others point to geopolitical factors. Chimaev hasn't fought in the US since September 2022. With his ties to Kadyrov and heightened tensions between the US and Russia, his ability to obtain a visa has come into question. The UFC has reportedly struggled to book him for fights in America.
You know, I've never been in a position where I'm like, who's next? How do we get him a fight? How do we get him over here? How do we do this? How do we do that?
A critical market for any fighter aiming to become champion. Instead, Chimaev has turned to Abu Dhabi and other locations where his connections to Kadyrov are less scrutinized. The UFC's reluctance to elevate Chimaev to champion status while he remains unable to compete in the US has become evident. Despite Dana White's promise that the winner of Chimaev's fight with Kamaru Usman would earn a title shot, his next bout will likely take place in Saudi Arabia instead. The logistical hurdles caused by his Kadyrov ties have created a cloud of uncertainty over his future. Chimaev's predicament isn't unique among Russian fighters. The blending of politics and sports in Russia has often come with strings attached. Fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov were also tied to political figures. But Chimaev's relationship with Kadyrov is especially troubling due to the leader's infamous reputation. Even those close to Kadyrov aren't safe from his wrath. Abdulkarim Edilov, a former UFC fighter and Kadyrov's one-time favorite, saw his fortunes reverse dramatically. After falling out of favor, Edilov resigned from his government position and was later found dead under mysterious circumstances. This serves as a stark reminder of the risks associated with being in Kadyrov's inner circle. Chimaev's career now hangs in the balance. While he's undoubtedly one of the most talented fighters in the UFC, his association with Kadyrov casts a long shadow. His diminished activity and inability to fight in the US have stalled his rise, and his future depends on navigating the delicate web of politics and sports. For fans, the hope remains that Chimaev can recapture the magic of his early UFC days. But as long as his career is intertwined with Kadyrov's regime, his path to the top will remain fraught with obstacles. The question now is whether Chimaev can break free from these constraints, or if his potential will be forever undermined by forces outside the cage. How would you describe Khamzat Chimaev's and Kadyrov's relationship in one word? Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a world to me.